Welcome to the Talk Style Podcast. Today we are joined by Anthony Pompliano, who's the founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. He's founded multiple businesses and invests in approximately 200 businesses. So here we go. I'm in the UK, in Manchester.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
It's beautiful there.
it's beautiful.
Cool.
Okay. Who's my audience? It's mainly people on TikTok, and I have some followers on Twitter, but but mostly just people on TikTok, like
Okay. And so what, they're like younger people for the most part?
younger people, and you have some people in the 20s and 30s. So
Okay.
uh,
And what is the type of content you normally talk about? Like what, like topic wise?
since you're in crypto, we can just talk about crypto, but I guess anything like new emerging technologies, investments, or like business. I usually do just random content, but I was more curious about because you mostly do crypto content, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay with just talking about crypto.
I'm happy to talk about crypto. I can talk about space. I can talk about AI. I can talk about, any kind of frontier technologies. I've invested in everything from, genetics, to, brain preservation stuff, rockets, whatever you want.
Uh, yeah, just like crypto stuff is also fine. Yeah, like because
Okay.
I've been crypto for since 2021 with NFTs, and I've heard you on the what's the first million podcast
Yeah,
where you
my
said
million.
like if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like 22, you just start a business instead of like working a job.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any tips? Because like I've been trying to do like business for like what 4 or 5 years, and it's pretty hard. Like I thought studying was pretty easy, but like business is like a completely different thing. So you have any like
Yeah.
tips for like someone, who's trying to get out of the, typical
I
nine
think
to
the
five.
key, look, you did have to battle, right? You got to get an
Yeah.
audience, get people to pay attention. You got to figure out what do they want.
Hmm.
Is software is a physical product. What can you do to put through, kind of those pipes?
Uh, yeah. And you've been crypto since a long time,
2016.
right? 2016, yeah. So like do you have any tips on like how to find like some projects? Because obviously there's stuff like in crypto every day is like that Content like the Trump coin, it happened at was it 3 a.m. UK time, and obviously some people have like alpha groups and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips on like how like an average dude? Because I do think there's a connection aspect to it too. Um,
No, I mean, look, I basically hold Bitcoin and kind of more larger cap stuff. Bitcoin's our biggest position. Solana's our second biggest position. Plenty of people are constantly looking for, brand new stuff, but that's not really our investing style.
okay, cool. Let's see what else. What do you think is like key trajectory point in your career? Like when did you begin like starting businesses? You just start straight away, like from high school, or did you just
I started when I was, I don't know, 12 years old, probably, building different
hmm,
businesses. I didn't think of it really that way. I just thought of it like, hey, how do I make money? And so
hmm,
businesses over the years were everything from, shoveling snow to I was building websites for local small businesses. I was reselling products online, all kinds of
hmm,
different things. And then
hmm,
when I was graduating college, the last semester that I was in college, I decided that rather than go get a regular job, I was going to try to start a company. And, I was 22, probably 21, 22 years old,
hmm,
and just started and didn't know what I was doing, and, kind of
hmm,
kept one foot in front of the other and slowly picked up different skills, different experiences. And eventually it became obvious, like, hey, I may actually know what I'm doing here if I
hmm,
stay at this long enough.
hmm. Because was it like I don't know your actual network because like was it like hundreds of millions? Because you had like a lot in Bitcoin. Because I've listened to a lot of your podcasts. You put, I think in one podcast you said you put like 90% into like Bitcoin or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put in I started in 2016, but
Hmm,
in 2018, in the big market crash, I pretty much put 90% of my net worth in Bitcoin, which
hmm,
obviously turned out pretty well. But
hmm,
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you're trying to learn, right? You're trying to figure out where the world's going. You got to understand
Mm,
finance, you got to understand technology, you got to understand geopolitics, you got to understand, domestic politics. There's a lot of stuff that goes into being a good investor and capital
mm,
allocator, and so it's intellectually stimulating.
mm. That's interesting. They're saying they can't hear. I can hear you. They're saying they can't hear you on this angle, but it's fine. Um, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I heard of Bitcoin in 2000. I wish I got into it like everyone else. That I joined in 2021 because of the NFT stuff. Do you have any opinions on NFTs? I do think it's gonna come back, but I don't know. Like, do you see any like huge opportunity that's gonna come like soon? Because I do think it's become like being early to this kind of stuff. Obviously, the
Yeah.
earlier you are, yeah.
When I
Um,
started in 2020 looking at the NFTs, I wrote a piece in August of 2020, and I said, I think digital art in particular is going to be a really big opportunity. And obviously, that played out pretty well. But what I didn't
mm,
understand or didn't expect is one, how quickly it would happen, nor how big it would be. I thought it would kind of just,
mm,
hey, this is not that popular now to become a little bit popular. But it obviously
mm,
became, the big theme of that bull market. And so, will they come back? I think that some of the market, will come back. Probably digital art stuff will remain interesting to people, but a lot of the other parts of that market probably won't come back. And so it really depends on, what specific kind of ecosystem or asset you're talking about, more so than just like NFTs as, one big group.
mm. Are there like are you because I often watch a lot of crypto videos like there's obviously an endless amount of crypto videos on the internet like do you have any tips on because a lot of times like going through Twitter Discord groups looking up new projects there's a lot of different categories too like gaming coins and is there any like tips you recommend like there's obviously no hack because there's so many projects um mm, I think some people might employ people to like look at specific stuff. Yeah. So any
Yeah, look,
tips?
there's all kinds of stuff, but the first thing I always tell people is like, even before you invest capital, go get educated, right? Go start
Mm,
learning. Part of learning,
mm,
obviously, you can read books, you can really do a lot on the internet now in terms
mm,
of follow people on Twitter, figure out where they are in Discord or Telegram, go listen to podcasts, read newsletters. All that information is available at your fingertips. And naturally, as you get more and more educated, you'll start to understand
mm,
who the players are in an
mm,
industry, and then
mm,
pay attention to what they're saying, right?
mm,
And sure, are you going to be the first one to know about an investment? Probably not, but you
mm,
probably will find out earlier than most people, and that's all you
mm,
want, right? You don't need to be the first, but as long as you get a kind of an early look, then that usually is good enough.
mm. They're saying they can't hear you, but I can hear you. So let me see if I can adjust it. Because I'm also on the live right now, but it's fine. I think on the Zoom it's getting recorded. They can hear me, but let's see. It's not recording my computer. Um, for some reason, let's see. Um, ah, this might work.
Is that better?
Default device. Oh yeah, I think it's because I'm using Audio Technica 8020 and I'm using the microphone, not the microphone, the earphone from that, and it's not capturing it on the laptop, so I think it should be fine now. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see what other questions. Do you have any tips on like trading? Because there's so many like videos on like was it like candle charts and do you do trading or do you just hold like hold
No,
Bitcoin and just no, you don't trade?
I just tend to buy assets and then hold them for quite a while.
Because I held a lot of my NFTs in 2021. It went to like six figures, but I wish I sold because like it was like speculation and then obviously you could have bought back in and then done a lot of stuff. So yeah, so I learned from I think they said you have to go through a couple of cycles to learn, you know. Yeah.
I
But
think that's right. I think that's right.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's see what other. Do you don't buy meme coins? Just like the main ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Just Bitcoin and Solana really are
Uh,
the two big positions.
okay. Um, any ideas on what sort of businesses to start? Like it's just based on your strengths, right? Like what opportunities you see. But then How do you actually spot like good opportunities though? Do you have like do you just pick up a knack for it over time? Like,
In terms of
um,
starting businesses,
yeah, because like I listen to people like Gary Vee, he's always like, oh yeah, do TikTok or like do like, NFTs. But like, how do people like spot these opportunities? Is it just like experience in the field over time, like, or is it just like intuition or is it like people you network with and they talk to you about it? Um, like
listen.
how
That's
huh?
that's what you got to do. You got to listen. Listen to what people are saying their problems are. Listen to what people are excited about, right? So if
Mm,
you know, for example, I learned how to build websites on WordPress when I
mm,
was younger, and
mm,
a lot of small businesses, that's a big problem. They don't have a website. They
mm,
need a better website. There's an issue, whatever. And
mm,
so really big agencies would come to them and say, hey, it's 20 grand, 25 grand. And I would
mm,
show up and I would just say, well, it's just me. It'll take me a couple of days. Why don't you just give me $5,000?
mm,
Pretty easy
mm,
pitch, right?
mm,
And so, just listen to what people's problems are and then go solve them.
mm. Would you recommend like some like because I've never tried a consulting social media because I am in social media for 4 years. Social media consulting, that's like an agency kind of business, right? I guess what you were saying was like websites. Is that consulting? That's just like offering a service as well, I suppose.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like
Yeah.
an agency, but you could also do it
Mm,
with the product, right? If I had heard somebody have a problem and I could,
mm,
build some software or build a physical product to solve that problem,
mm,
and then go to them and say, "Hey, I see you have this problem. I have this solution. Give me money for it."
mm, mm. Yeah. Interesting. Um, see what else. I saw you made a couple, was it crypto job like videos? Do you have like any recommendations on what? Because you said you wouldn't working a job, but then if someone has to get a job, like is there any good job in crypto or like a good job to working where you sort of learn something when and then eventually start your own thing?
I
Uh,
think that you've got to learn, right? You've got to learn what is
hmm,
how do you build a company?
hmm,
How do you find the problem? How do you recruit people? How do you lead
hmm,
people? How do you think of product development? All that kind of stuff.
hmm,
I think are really, really important to being able to build a company. And so think of it as practice, right? Nobody shows up and is good at a game without
hmm,
practicing.
hmm,
So start. You don't have to, go create a whole legal entity and do all that. Just get started. Just try. Solve somebody's problem. That's the best thing to do. And if you can do that, then you got a shot from there.
solving. That's why I say it, but then I have a couple of problems, but then I don't really know how to solve them. I mean, I've tried like selling Pokemon cards and that kind of stuff, and then TikTok and then crypto and NFTs, but none of it is like very easy. Let's see what other questions. Do you have like a defining moment in your career where it's like, oh yeah, I can do this as a business? Like, is there like you just build it experience over time or like gain confidence over time or like um this is random question.
I think that I probably more so than most, because of so many reps, eventually what you realize is not so much I can do it as much as I can figure it out.
Hmm,
And if you go into it knowing, hey, I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. I got the
hmm,
internet, right?
hmm,
Right now, if I wanted to go build products, like you probably can get online, go on YouTube, find a tutorial on how to use Cursor AI, find how to
hmm,
use ChatGPT or Perplexity or Grok or, Claude or whatever.
hmm,
And it'll show you, okay, do this, do that, do this, right? You start learning, you start
hmm,
tinkering. As you
hmm,
tinker, you start to get closer and closer to a solution. If you don't know something in the process, you then go and you figure it out online or YouTube or, AI or whatever, and next thing you know, you're able to actually build stuff that would be pretty interesting. And I think that
hmm,
it just takes a special type of person to do that, right? You can't be kind of a lazy person. You have to
hmm.
really want to build things if you want to be successful in business.
And is that like mainly software related? Because I'm thinking like I tried learning coding. There's a lot of things to learn in it. But I guess that's with anything. You could just chat GPT it and Google it. Um, but yeah. Uh,
Yeah, it could be for
mm,
anything, right? If you said to me, "Hey, I want to learn how to make shoes," go
mm,
online. There's somebody out there, right, that is going to show
mm,
you how to make shoes.
mm. Um, do you have like, okay, this is interesting. If you had 10K, what sort of business, or like, how would you approach the building wealth in this current market? This is an interesting question, I guess.
I think the first thing is you want to drive as much income as you possibly can. Then you want to live
Hmm.
within your means, so you have money left over. You want to take the money that's left over, you want to invest that money,
Hmm.
and you want to make sure that whatever money you're investing is after you kind of have that rainy day fund.
Hmm.
So think, okay, I want 3 months of my expenses set aside. And let's say you spend
Hmm.
$5,000 a month. All
Hmm.
right, I need to save up 15 grand. Once I got 15 grand saved up, then I've got to take however much money I'm making
Hmm.
minus my $5,000 a month of expenses, and whatever
Hmm.
is left, I go and I invest.
Hmm.
And I don't need to speculate on the things that are going to go up, 50 or 100x. I,
Hmm.
especially if I'm young, I have the benefit to just allow things to compound. Let them compound over time, and you're going to be in good shape.
Hmm. Do you think like the S&P 500, because obviously it's like, there's like index funds and like, you even talked about, I think gold ETF, was it gold being better in return? But Bitcoin's obviously, you know, people in crypto really like Bitcoin. What do you think? Like S&P 500, I have something in S&P 500, but obviously this is not really investment advice. It's like
Yeah.
your personal, yeah.
Look, I think the S&P 500 has done a fantastic job of
Hmm.
compounding for decades.
Hmm.
No reason to believe it's not going to continue to do that, right?
Hmm.
Same thing with the Nasdaq 100. I think that Bitcoin is a great asset to have in your portfolio as well. And I think a lot of
Hmm.
people they make the mistake of it's very binary, like I want 100% Bitcoin or I want 100%
Hmm.
S&P.
Yeah.
You're probably better off saying, "Hey, what are my two best ideas?"
Hmm.
and go and put those in the portfolio and then pay attention, right?
Hmm.
If you tell me your two best ideas are like some random meme coin,
Yeah.
you're taking
Yeah.
immense
Yeah.
risk, and the downside is you could lose everything. I don't think that
Hmm.
that's really a risk when it comes to the S&P or Bitcoin.
Do you think like obviously I could just go on charts on like DEX tools and look at all the trending coins and meme coins and it's more like I feel like it's like sort of like playing lottery and like luck, like finding the right meme coin. Do you think that's really a good strategy or like trying to solve a problem might be better, but then trying to solve a problem isn't really that easy either. Um, so maybe a bit of both, I guess. But then, hmm, me see if there's a new question. Do you think networking is important to like success? Is
I
this
mean, it's probably one of the most important things is who you know, right?
hmm,
You've probably heard the saying that your network is your net worth.
hmm,
It is directionally correct for sure.
hmm. Um, let's see what other question. Are there any other investments you're excited about? You politically excited about, like you're paying attention to, or is it Bitcoin, AI?
Yeah, look, I think that there's a lot of companies that I'm excited about. Maybe some
Hmm,
that are, people wouldn't really know what the future is coming. There's a company called Varda. They make manufacturing devices, and they put
hmm,
them up in space on rockets, and then they
hmm,
manufacture pharmaceutical drugs, and then they bring those drugs back down to Earth. And so that's pretty cool. Why would you do that? You do it because there's zero gravity. And so there's
hmm,
certain things that you can do in zero gravity that you can't do on Earth. And
hmm,
so being able to manufacture drugs in space, pretty interesting.
hmm,
I'm an investor in a company called Traba.
hmm,
Traba is growing incredibly quickly. They do staffing for light industrial. So think about
hmm,
like warehouse workers. Now, rather
hmm,
than have to pick between food delivery or driving Uber, there's a bunch of people who they can go and they can work in a warehouse, right?
hmm,
And so that's pretty cool business. We've got another business called Grip Shipping. They do kind of 3PL for perishables. So think of Amazon. Amazon's got this massive logistics network. These guys do the same thing, but they do it for food that can actually go bad. So frozen food, refrigerated food, etc. And then we've
hmm,
got really cool companies like a company called Nucleus. What they're doing is DNA sequencing.
hmm,
And so they can tell you a lot more about your DNA than any other platform. And they
hmm,
think that they can use your DNA to learn more and more about you over time, including the identification of certain genes that maybe otherwise people wouldn't really know. So, for
hmm,
example, is there an intelligence gene? Can they figure that out? Can they tell you, hey, here is, kind of where you are, and better inform their customers? And then I've also invested in companies. There's a company called Nectome that they have a brain freezing technology. So as you're dying, they essentially try to freeze your brain. They
Mm,
started out with animals and they eventually want to work up to humans. But the general idea would be to preserve the brain with the
mm,
full structural integrity. And the idea
mm,
there is if they would be able to do that, then they could download your thoughts, your emotions, your, ideas, knowledge, et cetera, to a computer and at some point, use that in the future. And so we try to, invest in things that are, very unlikely to be successful because they're hard.
mm,
But if they work, they will
mm,
be incredibly valuable, right? So we're looking for
mm,
kind of these asymmetric payoffs, but that is the name of the game when it comes to startups.
mm. Where do you find them? Is this through your network or like people reach out to you or like I need an investment? Like basically, yeah,
Both. Yeah, I'd say
both.
both.
Yeah. Mm. Um, some people say it was Ethereum's going to go to 15K. Was it Solana's going to go to was it 1K? Do you think that's going to happen this year or like
Yeah,
it?
I'm not super excited about Ethereum. In
Um,
December of 2023, I sold all the Ethereum we had and I bought Solana. So
mm,
obviously, kind of don't listen to what I say, just watch what I did.
mm,
I don't have no clue what Solana will go to, but it
mm,
feels like it's very well positioned to do well in 2025.
I feel like it's gone up. I'm not sure if it's due to the Trump coin because the Trump coin was on Solana chain and then maybe more people started buying Solana lately. Um, let's see. Do you have any tips for, obviously, a lot of people want to be rich, right? Do you have any tips for getting that wealth? Because it's obviously quite difficult to achieve. Um, Especially like right now, we don't, well, I can't just buy Bitcoin and become rich.
Yeah.
So, the-
Well, look, I think that if you want to build wealth, the timeless investing principles, matter, right?
mm,
Spend less
mm,
than you make, invest for the
mm,
long term, let compounding
mm,
take over. If you
mm,
want to do it by being an investor, that's pretty clear. If you want to do it as a entrepreneur, then build a product that solves a problem for people that they're willing to pay for, right? And it's
mm,
kind of like, it's almost like bad advice because it's so simple, but those really are the principles. And so
mm,
as you kind of go down that path, then you can learn more and more about, you know, uh, what exactly you need to do, and how to
mm,
perfect it, how to grow, how to scale, how to, kind of move up from 101 level to, 201 or 301. But really,
mm,
it's just those basics. And what I found is that the smartest people, the most successful, kind of wealthiest people that I respect, they're just really good at doing the basics, right? Yeah, they're smart, they work hard, all those things. Those are kind of like
mm,
table stakes. But it's
mm.
just they do the basics consistently for decades, and that's really how they've been able to build whatever success they have.
Like basic investing and then they solve a lot of problems because there was a saying like you have to solve give society what it wants at scale, but then it's kind of hard to do. Like but then what sort of problems like just daily problems that you might have you try to solve or build a product and service for it, but then it's not really a exercise that you really learn in school. I guess you still have to be able to do it yourself or like yeah. um um was it 5 minutes left? Let's see, what else is there? Um, let's see. Do you have any particular habits you think are useful? I don't really believe in habits, to be honest. Like any particular thing that you think that makes you exceptional or like gives you an advantage or like I think obviously everyone has their own strength. But like do you think you got some skill that you could teach other people? Like that's learnable or I don't know. Not unless they a talent, because talent I think not everyone can get the same talent. Um
Yeah. Look, I think that I don't know if it's necessarily some special skill as much
uh
as I think that I work hard. I think that
mm,
I've been very consistent for a long period of time, and
mm,
I study. I think of it as a craft, right? I
mm,
read an immense amount. I'm constantly trying to learn every little detail or hack that I can come up with, and
mm.
the more that I can do that, the better off I think that I'll be.
Okay. You got a lot of books. Is that the stuff you're reading, or is this like you just have? Yeah.
The entire room is full of books. You can only see those
Mm,
ones, but yeah,
mm,
all those books I've read. I try to read about a book a week.
mm,
Is kind of the pace that I go. I wish I could read more, but
mm,
yeah, I read everything from business. I read about finance and investing. I read history. I
mm,
read kind of some philosophy type books. Just whatever interests me, and I find that I learn quite a bit from doing that.
mm. What do you think about like podcasts? Because obviously there's an endless amount of crypto videos and content. I listen to a lot of podcasts at what 1.8 speed. Uh, I mean books. I tried reading at some point. Do you think? What do you think? Like books, podcasts. I mean they're all sort of like insights, I guess, into how people think. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um.
think each kind of medium brings different value, right? Some of them are
Mm,
really valuable. Other ones
mm,
are you know not
yeah.
as easy maybe to remember or recall the information. And so depending on what you're consuming,
Mm,
you pick the medium that you like.
mm, understood. Let's see. Do you have a personal investment mistake that you think you've learned most from, that you think is valuable to other people? I guess if they hear it, like, what you think this is an interesting, but
I
yeah.
am a human, right? I've definitely bought things in the past that I didn't fully understand. And
Mm,
so if they started to not work, price went down or something, I got nervous
mm,
and I sold. I lost money.
mm,
Thankfully it hasn't been on a massive scale, but
mm,
it's a great, learning lesson of like only buy things that you really understand. Right?
mm.
If you don't understand it, don't buy it.
Like my NFTs went down, but I didn't sell. I wish I sold because when it started going down, it started going down even more. And I wish I sold. I thought it would go up back up. Yeah, yeah, but I learned that lesson. Um, let's see. People say what that Bitcoin's gonna go to 1 million. You don't know. Obviously, no one knows when. I mean, but I bought. You know when in 2022 I bought Solana instead of Bitcoin because but Solana I think did the 20x, so I think it was a better move than Bitcoin. But I guess it's because a lot of people really like Bitcoin and a lot of smart people hold it. Is that
Yeah, I think that
yeah
Bitcoin is a global asset that
um
a lot of people around the world
mm,
realize they can help them store economic value, and it's going to continue to be more and more popular as more people recognize what it is and begin to pour their
mm,
capital into it.
okay. Um, suppose we got 1 minute left. Do you have anything else you want to share? This is for the 40 minutes. Yeah.
No, look, I think that what people really should pay attention to, right? If you want to kind of design your life, I
Mm,
wrote a book where right, somewhere over here, right, called
mm,
"How to Live an Extraordinary Life." And the big
mm,
lesson from the book was everyone has their own version of an extraordinary life. What my
mm,
version is different than your version, right?
mm,
I think that if you want to live your version of an extraordinary life, you first have to define it, and then you have to
mm,
go out and you have to take action. And the whole
mm,
theme of that book is you have agency. The outcome of your life is determined by the actions that you take. And so
mm,
the more that people, I think, recognize they have agency, it really puts the onus on them. If you want to be successful, go take the actions that a successful person would take. If you want
mm,
to build a business that, solves a certain problem, then go take the actions that, are required to build a business. But really just having personal responsibility is kind of a key component, I think, of being successful in the 21st century.
mm. Do you think you should work for someone you want to be like? Because that's what I think Gary Vee said once. Like, is it
Yeah.
important for me to work for an entrepreneur instead of me trying it myself?
I think when
Like,
you're young, right? When I was young, I started a company first, and I eventually went to Facebook, and I learned a ton
mm,
working at Facebook for 2 years. And so maybe actually it was better that I went to Facebook and went and learned so much there. That probably helped
mm,
set me up for success later on.
mm. Um, let's see. Um, so what habits or strategy? So do you think there's a lot you can learn in a company or like, because obviously entrepreneurship is not easy at all. So I mean, if you're like struggling for income, right, you might want to work for an entrepreneur, but then getting a job is not that simple either. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Look, I think that there's a lot of opportunity uh, to learn regardless of what situation you're in. You want to go work
Mm,
at a company, you can learn a ton, right? That's what I did.
mm,
I've also learned a lot building companies, being out on my own. It just comes down to what is the thing that you want to be able to learn. Where's the best environment for you to pick that up? Who do you need to be around? And
mm.
then you go and you set it up.
Yeah, because I do think was it corporate is quite different from, starting your own thing because you have maximum autonomy and then corporate is it's more stable income, but it's not as much autonomy. Um, so but then it's also like is the skills I'm learning useful if I'm starting my own thing? That's why I'm I guess asking. But then yeah, I think I've not worked in a startup, but I have worked in corporate. It's quite different.
Yeah, it's
Uh
very different, right?
yeah. Um let's see. I don't know how many minutes we have like mm, let's see now what else. Do you think there's a particular trend in crypto that's happening? Because some people says like, this year's like gaming coin was it gaming coins and the AI coins, and then you don't buy any of those, right? So
I don't buy any of them now.
yeah, okay. What other questions? Is do you think there's gonna be institutional adoption of like Ethereum? Some people talk about was it Ethereum ETF, and then that might affect the price of Ethereum, and then but you said you sold your Ethereum, right? So yeah,
Sold it
um,
all, bought Solana.
yeah. Um, hmm. What habits? Do you think there's particular habits or strategies? 'Cause there's obviously a saying in crypto is like diamond hands and paper hands, but obviously I don't think that's fully true because I do think there's times where you should trade and sell it, and there's times where you should just hold. Do you have any tips on that? Because like, and if stuff like NFTs or like short-term assets, obviously you should sell it on the top because it's not going to be a
Yeah.
long-term hold.
I
Um,
buy and I hold for the long run. No
yeah.
trading, no anything.
Uh, okay. Um, if you were to build your portfolio today from scratch, how would you allocate it? Would you have some in like, random meme coins or I don't know. Because obviously a lot you can just look at deck tools all day and trying to find the next meme coin that's gonna 10x or 100x, but it's not that easy. Um,
I think that there is a pretty easy way to do it, right?
mm,
Is the first thing I would start with is I would say, what are my goals?
mm,
How much money do I have to invest?
mm,
I would set a kind of strategic plan of
mm,
what allocations, and then I would put
mm,
it on autopilot. And that probably
mm,
would be some version of I want to have some cash, I want to have some Bitcoin, and I want to have some
mm,
stock. And I
mm,
would go, and every single time I got paid my paycheck, I'd pay my expenses. I would take over leftover money, and I would just
mm,
kind of auto invest it into that portfolio that I'd created. And then I would just focus all my time and energy on trying to get as much as I possibly could income wise so that I have more and more to put into that investment portfolio.
mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Um, do you think that AI is gonna intersect with crypto? Some people are like, oh, was it AI is gonna be in NFTs or something? Or a blockchain was gonna verify AI? No, no, was it? Blockchain's gonna verify if a video is legit or something like that. I think I
I don't
heard that in a
know.
podcast. Yeah.
Sounds like it, right? Possibly.
Uh, um, let's see. I don't know what other. What advice would you give someone to looking to leave their 9 to 5 or starting their own business? Because it's pretty difficult. I don't think it's what everyone can do. It's very hard because I've tried it, and I think our job was much easier. It's just not as much autonomy.
In what sense?
Like if they don't like the job and then they're trying to find other types of income, I guess there must be loads of that kind of people.
Get a different job.
Yeah,
You
get
don't
a
like your
different
job, go
job.
get a different one.
Uh, yeah, that's actually not bad advice. Let's see. How do you know if an investment is good? Like, I guess just talking to the founder and then researching. What if you can't talk to the founder then? Like you just trying to read the project and try to go into Discord, Telegram.
I think you got to just do research, right?
Mm,
Sometimes you can talk to the founder, sometimes you can't. But
mm,
pretty much now with the internet and kind of how pervasive this stuff is, you can Google around, you
mm,
can search on Twitter, etc. Um, and I think that's a huge part of it.
mm. Um, do you think there's not okay? I have like very good grades, but I don't feel like it's not really a huge advantage in life. There's not much ways you can monetize like having good grades, right? Like it's very different from like trying to solve a problem. Um, yeah, I guess I don't know where I'm going with that, but I guess I was thinking of because I sometimes do tutoring, but then it's not you're not gonna I don't think I'm gonna get rich off tutoring, so I gotta find some other
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, look, there's a way to build a lot of businesses, right? I always say
Mm,
that there is there's many ways up the mountain.
mm, yeah, different
So
ways.
yeah, pretty simple, right?
Um. But then it's almost like knowing what you can actually do, right? Because there's obviously different ways of then different incomes. And then, um, hmm, let's see, what other questions? Um, yeah, so how do you figure out what you're good at in business? Like just try loads of different kind of businesses and then try different, obviously they said what's that, sales, and then because I've tried multiple different kind of business, but none of them really makes a lot. So
I think
just
that
keep
that
on
is
trying
the best.
different, huh?
I think that is exactly what you need to do is just try as much as you possibly can.
Uh, and figure out which ones you're good at. Um, duh, duh, duh. What else? Yeah. Mm, see, what do you think separates those who don't make it? What do you think separates a successful entrepreneur from those who do make it? Obviously, it's very hard. Um, what do you think? Because you do invest in company. How do you know if this founder's got a shot versus, I guess it's maybe it's some confidence, but then also maybe previous experience and then I don't know, intuition.
Yeah, I think that confidence comes with competence,
Hmm.
right? So like you have to be honest with yourself, right?
Hmm.
How many people are like, "Hey, I actually know what I'm doing. I can execute on this." Probably
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
But if you can figure out what you're doing, then you
Hmm.
gain confidence because you realize that you have competence.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, how do you approach risk taking in business investing? Obviously, I've taken risk and bought NFTs and stuff. How do you know if it's a good risk? Like,
Max risk taking.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
probably more so than most. I just take as much risk as I can.
oh, yeah, that makes sense. Um, how do you stay motivated?